Good evening. Welcome to our monthly meeting, our February 5th, 2024. Already 2 months into it already. It's hard to believe, right? Thanks to everyone tonight for being here. Love seeing all your happy faces. And certainly it allows you a chance to learn about us and what we do and understand what's going on in our city. I'd like to start with our invocation by Mr. Charles Van Sant Sr. Sir, if you could please come and lead in our invocation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight, thanking you for each of our lives and for our city. Now in its 99th year this year, we praise you, Lord, for establishing the city here and for allowing those who govern it to be able to help those that occupy our city and the surrounding area. And we ask tonight that as you bring forth the agenda, that we will yield to your perfect will in the midst of it, and that each of us will not only be satisfied, but in the midst of it, we will be thankful and glorify you for the opportunity to govern ourselves. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
If you'll join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Silva, would you please give the roll call?
Mayor Nina Roddenroth.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Chris Thompson.
Here.
Councilman Tony Brown.
Here.
Councilman Steve Hart.
Here.
And Councilman Dan Lewandowski. Not here.
Thank you. We have a quorum. So since our last meeting, we have hired a new city manager, Mr. Charlie Van Sant. We're absolutely thrilled to have him join us and looking forward to this amazing journey that we're going to have and working with Mr. Van Sant. We have to do take oath of office. So that's a little ceremony that we have to do this evening. Should we go in the front right here?
Yeah.
You want all council down there also or not?
Usually you'll
Me?
administer the oath and then everyone can come down for a picture.
Okay.
And
So let me. So bear with me for this. Good to see you. I state your name.
I, Charles Van Zandt,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and the government of the United States
the Constitution and the government of the United States
and the state of Florida.
and the state of Florida,
That I am duly qualified to hold the office
that I am duly qualified to hold the office
under the Constitution of the state
under the Constitution of the state
and under the charter of the city of Keystone Heights.
and under the charter of the city of Keystone Heights,
And that I will defend and faithfully perform
and that I will defend and faithfully perform
the duties of the office of the city manager
the duties of the office of city manager
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
Excellent. Thank you.
You can get a good picture of me with my family.
why don't you just stand out, you'll get a better backdrop to the TV.
Okay. Where's
Sorry, guys. So you're fine.
Yes, sir.
Now, all of
Okay.
you.
Appreciate
So
it.
we got family stay up with the rest of the council. Gloria, stand here.
I didn't get the memo that I was supposed to wear black.
Thank you.
I'm wearing khaki for the Navy.
Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine. As long as I don't bump you.
No, you can take a few steps back. So you
direction. I'm going to sneak in and get some too. Are we good?
Well done. Perfect.
Do we have any public comments tonight?
Yes, ma'am, we sure do. Mr. Evan Stanley.
Hello, Mr. Stanley.
Hey, good evening.
Yes, can you give us your name and your address, please?
Yes, ma'am. Evan Stanley. I live at 455 Southeast Lakeview Drive here in Keystone.
Okay.
I wasn't able to make the last meeting because I had work and I don't get off till 5. So there were some of the things I wanted to address. Some originated from the meeting before that, which I think was in November, and some from that last meeting. I spoke at the meeting in November about the age restriction for children in public parks. And I just wanted, after you guys had your discussion, I wanted to just state that I disagree pretty strongly with Mr. Hart on his support for that. His argument seemed to be that it wasn't going to be enforced as written. It's going to be up to the discretion of the people enforcing it, whether or not that ordinance gets enforced. And I really don't want my children's use of the park to be based on whoever. Thank you for what I saw in the last meeting. We live here. Thank you for what I saw in the last meeting. We live here. I have 2 small children. We like to walk. We like to use the parks. Really appreciate the effort that the city is putting into improving that. A couple of things that I really liked was the widening of the sidewalks and the efforts to address the heat islands and the walking in the summertime, the addition of shade trees and things like that. I think those are going to be big improvements to the city. So thank you for looking into that. A couple other things that I wanted to just address is I don't know what kind of involvement you're going to have with the community, what that's going to look like, but there are things like the slats around the fence around the Geneva jungle.
Yes.
I know there was talk about moving that down so visibility is better. I think one of the reasons they were put up is it makes it one way in, one way out. Parents can drop off their kids and say, hey, go play, while they sit at the picnic tables and get the lunch ready or whatever, and they know their kids aren't going to be running out into the parking lot because they can sit right there and see what's going on. So I think, yeah, there's some benefit for the additional visibility, but the physical security is also there with those, so take that into account. The other thing was over here on the park on this side of the street. Looks like there's gonna be a lot of green space, a lot of room for people to do different things, but everything over here seems to be geared towards the smaller kids. There's nothing here for the teens to do. Got rid of the basketball courts and the tennis courts. I didn't really see anything to replace those for that age group. You're talking about moving that to the other side of the city. If you look at your map of the city limits, that's way over there by itself. There are 50 homes going in there, I understand that. But just right here between 21 and 100, there are over 80 residential lots. And people have already purchased here knowing the parks and the facilities that are here. So I want to make sure there's something for the older kids to do here, whether that's retaining a basketball court or a pickleball court or a tennis court, something like that for the older kids here on this side as well. I think that's going to be pretty much it. The parking issue definitely needs to stay up front. Notice they're taking away some parking, and that's something that's going to be hard to do as we get these additional subdivisions coming in. The parking at the beach side is not going to be adequate. It gets full now on weekends, so we don't want to be taking away any parking. We want to be adding to it in our plans. So that's all I had for you today. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Stanley, thank you. I appreciate you being here tonight. We are going to have a workshop at the end of this month, so stay tuned. I believe it's the 28th of February.
Okay.
I think it's going to start at 8. It's going to be 4 hours. We're going to cover some details about the parks plan. Remember, this is a proposed idea. It's not a definite. So we do look for the input and appreciate that. Secondly, I'm going to plan to lead up a vandalism project so we could hopefully avoid this age situation in the park. But it's also, I feel like you all deserve the right to know about some facts and data, which I'm waiting for from the sheriff's office. But these are some things, and maybe that'll be a task force you might want to be involved in. And the goal is that we make it a good place and experience for everyone, regardless of age.
Yes, ma'am.
But so attend the workshop. You'll hear a lot, and we'll be openly discussing kind of our ideas, and then certainly listen to audience as well.
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yes,
My
thank
son,
you.
My son was crying, "Daddy, don't go," when I came here
Oh.
tonight. But I'll try to get to what I can. Thank
Yeah,
you.
well, no, that'd be great. Thank you so much. Do you have any other comments?
No, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, moving along with our consent agenda. Have you all been able to review the agenda in the package?
I'll make a motion, we move the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
A vote?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Moving along for city business action items. We decided to move the agenda just a tad. Our ladies are here tonight for the Women's Club. We have a proclamation to present. And I would like for Ms. Brooke to come up for, if you're, I thought I saw you there. Once we do this, we'll have all the ladies come up for a picture. So I don't know how many of you noticed, but recently our ladies club celebrated the 100th celebration. Very, very special. I think I know we're gonna have some more 100th celebrations coming up because the city is having theirs just next year. So it's pretty exciting, I think, for all of us. And I was able to go to their little get together a few weeks ago and wonderful turnout. And just such a great group of women. I encourage all ladies to be part of it. I recently joined myself. So, this is a proclamation from the Women's Club for their 100th celebration. Whereas, on January 1st, 1924, the first Women's Club of Keystone Heights was established, and the land was donated by the Lawrence Development Company, where a 20 by 30 building was used as their first club. Whereas, in 1925, a larger building was needed, and a lot was purchased from the community church, where the new building was built. For 37 years, it was used as a community center. Whereas in 1958, the Women's Club joined the Florida Federation of Women's Club, and the Keystone Heights Junior Women's Club was formed during this time. Whereas in 1962, a fire destroyed the Women's Club, which also housed the first public library of Keystone Heights. Community Church bought the land and provided an interim space for the Women's Club during that time. Whereas in 1968, the new clubhouse was dedicated, and in 1969, Trius Construction was contracted to build a new building on a lot donated by H.T. Williams and Charles Oliver. Previously, the lot had been the site of the Chicago Opera House. Whereas in 1972, Keystone Heights Women's Club started the first Keystone Heights Christmas Parade, which still exists today, and has been sponsored by the Lake Region Quads Club over 50 years. Whereas in 2001, the Women's Club became federated with the General Federation of Women's Club, and the name changed to Women's Club of Keystone Heights Incorporated. Whereas in 2008, the Women's Club was honored at the Women's Club Convention for 50 years as a federated club. Whereas in 2014, the Women's Club celebrated its 90th year as an organization, received a proclamation from the city of Keystone Heights for 90 years of service. Whereas in 2022, the second Keystone Heights Junior Women's Club was formed with Dana Bennett Eatman as the first president. She is the daughter of Pat Bennett, and past president of the first Juniors Women's Club. Whereas in 2024, January 2024, a 100-year celebration was held, and the Junior Club and the Women's Club merged as one with the passing of the gavel to President Brooklyn Hayes Dillon. The clubhouse is dedicated to Tina Bullock, who is in our audience tonight, for over 50 years of service. Now therefore, I, Nina Rosenbaum, as your mayor for the city of Keystone Heights, Florida, do hereby proclaim February 5th, 2024 as Women's Club Day in the city of Keystone Heights. I urge all citizens to celebrate the Women's Club and support their efforts in the community and their continuing longevity in our city. Duly adopted and proclaimed on this 5th day of February 2024 by the city of Keystone Heights. Congratulations. Thank you, ladies. I know. Okay, our next item of business is to, our acquisition plan for the corner property located on 125 East Walker Drive, Keystone Heights. And I guess, what is the latest update? I saw the email with the information about the property.
Yes, ma'am. So, I passed along what I have in terms of the real estate comps for that piece of property. And Mr. Tom Germano, who's the listing agent with CD Isaac, is here if you have any questions for him. But I just need your direction if you would like to acquire that. Then somebody could move that item and discuss and vote and direct me to either go after that or not go after that. And if the city would like its own real estate agent to negotiate with CD Isaac on your behalf. I've done a lot of things, but I've not transacted a lot of real estate other than my own personal residences. I won't be offended if you do want to do that. If you want me to do that, I'll figure it out.
What are y'all's thoughts?
I think you're asking for a motion to at least get it on the floor. I'll move
Yes.
that we discuss the acquisition of this property.
Second.
You have a vote? We all agree?
Aye.
I agree, yes. So move forward with a contract is what we're suggesting here? Is that what you're saying?
An offer.
An offer?
Some
An offer.
Direction
Okay.
on that.
So
Can I
think
throw
in
my
one of
2
our-
cents in on it, or, go ahead.
Yes.
Well, one of our last meetings, the council had wanted to make an offer of what the property appraiser had listed at the value, and I thought it was 200,000.
It's around 108,000 is what it's appraised at by the county.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, now, Tom, you did a great job with these comparables. That's a lot of work that you put in, and my own personal opinion is it was a tough job because there really aren't any comparables. I mean, there's nothing around that's the ones you cited are already viable and commercial properties. So that's one of the things that we have to look at. My view, and I did a little real estate way back in the day, didn't do any appraising, and this is not an appraisal, I understand it. Is the best test of property values is a recent sale at arm's length by willing buyer, willing seller, no compulsion to buy or sell, negotiated, no relationship. And I think, can I assume that was the situation when the current owner bought the property? It was negotiated? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mr. Patel?
My name is Tom Patel.
Mhm.
I'm the owner of the property.
Sir, can you come and talk in the microphone just so we can, with it being recorded, we can catch the details? Thank you, sir.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Yes.
My name is Mr. Patel. I own the property of the corner, and I don't have no problem to sell it, give it to city, to sell it to city. And I have if you have open offer, you can offer me whatever you guys think. Or if you don't have the fund, you can give me the same amount of property is anywhere else in town. I don't have a problem either. So it's open. If you have something property sitting somewhere, it's worth the same price. I don't have a problem either. So
Mr. Patel, I believe you paid $240,000 for it approximately 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
Is
yes,
that,
sir.
is that accurate?
That's accurate number, yes, sir.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so I pay the interest too, but I don't mind. I will waive the interest. I don't want the interest from you guys because I have business in the city of the Keystone limit, and it's good for the city. I have to make a corner and get the progress on the city. So I don't have no problem to have you guys, if you want, whatever you guys want to try to make it a corner, I don't have no problem.
Just for the record, I believe that any grandfathering that existed with this property as a restaurant probably has expired, because I think it's been more or less vacant for 6 months. Is that?
Yes, right. Yes, sir.
Is that
Yes.
accurate?
And their open last is in 2019.
And that's what made it difficult. And of course, the parking is actually owned by Ace Hardware, at least according to the property assessor's map. Is that correct? At least the parking this side.
This side of parking, yeah, is owned by the Ace Hardware guy.
Yeah. So parking is an issue. One thing we need to talk about is the highest and best use from our standpoint, if we were to acquire it, whether it's by purchase or some other way. And it looks like the highest and best use is probably as a turn lane for the highway. Because we had testimony, I think at the last meeting, that that's a very difficult
To make a
turn to navigate with long trucks, which
Yeah,
it's a funny angle.
Yeah.
So we'd have to look at the highest and best use, and I think we also need to look at what's best for the taxpayers of the city, and coming up with a number is difficult, but I think we have to consider safety.
That's right.
And I think that has value.
Yes, well, yes.
So my thinking is, first of all, it's my understanding the city has the money. I don't think we're talking a swap. We're not gonna do a 1031 or
No
anything like
problems.
that. No, nothing like that. So we would have to come up with a fair market value, and I guess the thing to do would be to submit an offer to you, and then you can consider it, talk to your attorney.
Well, unless Mr. Patel knows what he's looking for us to purchase the property.
Yeah.
But do you have an idea?
Yeah, so I want to get the same money what I pay for it.
Which was what?
I paid so
240.
240. I'm sorry.
No, I think that's correct.
Yeah, 240 I paid
That-
for it, and I hired
Okay.
the hired him too, so I have to pay him too.
So does the council want to think about that, or are we willing to?
Can I ask you a question? When you bought the property, did you have any assessment of any contaminants on the property? Did you have a phase 1 or phase 2 done?
The phase 1 and phase 2, no, I don't have it done yet.
Okay. One thing I think we should consider is this is across the street from an abandoned gas station, and stuff tends to percolate out. I would recommend any offer that we put in would contain at least a requirement of a phase 1 inspection. And to be fair, I would think that the city and you could split the cost of that.
Okay.
And it's not, a phase one's not expensive.
No, it's not. It's not. It's basically looking at the records and walking around the property, make sure there's no bubbling crude coming up and that sort of thing. But also it gives us some protection, because if we were to buy it and it's contaminated, the current owner is totally liable, strict liability,
Yes.
for a cleanup, which then could be very expensive.
It's very expensive, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Mr. Van Zant's looking for direction from council, so what do you want to do with it's no different than if he had listed the property for 240.
Right. Well, it sounds like 240 is at least a good starting point.
Should outstanding.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Don't leave.
Thank you.
They may have some more questions.
Hey, sir.
How you doing?
Good, good.
This is a property that we've looked at over the years as being, even before you purchased it, a great source of traffic flow. To make it simple, I mean, you can't really put anything in there anymore because of the way the codes have changed and everything, and the parking. I was very impressed with what we saw last month on how to do the turn lane, and I've been to a couple areas where they have those, and it seems that everything flows pretty good. I personally, we've kicked the can around so many times on projects, and this is one that we're gonna have to have help on when it comes to transportation. But I think we as a city should jump on the opportunity and not let it go.
And just keep in mind, the city's going to have demolition costs as well,
Yes.
because that building really can't be used
Right.
for anything.
It's a 50-year-old building. IRS gives you 39 years on a depreciation schedule. So for all practical purposes, it's a detriment to the property,
Yeah, that's
in
right,
my
yeah.
view.
Whether we get if council thinks that we need to get an appraisal on it to find out.
It's going to be impossible to get a true appraisal on it, so.
Well, I know how much we paid, or we sold the fire department for,
Right.
but that's a bigger piece of property and a lot bigger building and everything, and it's usable. So I would say we have the funds, and I think we need to go ahead and acquire this.
And I think we can skip the appraisal because the most recent sale was fairly recent, that was 240, so that sets the fair market value right there, because I assume you negotiated it back and forth when you bought it. It's an intangible.
But if you're willing to give it for less, we'll take it.
Hey, in future, if you guys need anything for you guys growing and any business or anything you guys need a fund, yeah, I'm willing to donate it. Yeah, I have the multiple business in town, so if you guys trying to do something in the future, I don't have no problem for donating money for the in the city.
When you bought it, did you get title insurance?
Title insurance, yes.
You did, okay.
Yes.
Were there any exceptions that you recall? Schedule B?
No.
No exceptions?
sir.
It was clean?
Clean, yeah.
Tom, is that?
I didn't see anything.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
So I hired the lawyer in Gainesville, and they did closing for us, and they did all
No
stuff.
hidden easements or anything like that that wouldn't show up on the record? Everything, as far as you know?
Yeah,
it's clean?
everything so far is good, yes, sir.
I'm
So-
so sorry to interrupt. Could I get your name, sir, for the
Sure.
record?
It's Tom Germano, Germano.
Thank you so much, sir.
So is there a motion to authorize the city manager to negotiate a purchase and sale agreement subject to the results of due diligence in a phase 1 environmental study?
And subject to the usual contingencies of title insurance and so on. Yeah. I would make the motion to authorize city manager to do that.
I second that.
Can I get a vote?
Aye.
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 See, we all good?
Thank you.
Y'all good?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Mr.
for being in
Tom.
touch. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
sir.
Patel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Nice to meet you.
All right, I'm excited about that.
I am very excited. The next on the list here is our 2024 scheduled citywide events. Do we have a list of what we are currently looking at that is, I know we may talk about some others at the end of at the workshop, end of this month, but the ones that are actually planned so far? Anybody? Charlie?
Motor Surf is coming up in April.
Huh?
Is that what you're?
Yeah, so the motor surf is
The
April?
Motor Surf is going to be May 10th through 12th.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just looking at what's coming for the year that we've even, I know it's a little soon. Maybe we just talk more about it at the
Give them a
workshop.
chance to
I'll be thinking about it.
find it.
Calendar with that stuff on it, take it out of there.
Perfect.
I have a request. Charlie, you may be aware of this. The community band is going to be using the pavilion for rehearsals and maybe up to four different concerts this coming year. So the request is if that could be on the calendar as well. Basically, we're asking for Thursday evenings, except one Thursday a month, which the chamber is using. I think that's what the past practice has been.
Okay, so we'll come up with one calendar for 2024 with everything that we know about as council can add to, take away from.
Yeah.
Do your,
And I apologize, Mr. Hart, can you please clarify, do you want the pavilion or are you wanting the stage Thursday nights?
Probably the pavilion. That's what we've used in the past.
Thank you, sir.
If it's nice weather, we might do a concert at the stage.
Just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is a city engineer discussion. Councilman Brown?
We're gonna hold off on that until next month.
Are you? Okay. All right. Florida League of Cities on February 15th. Mr. Brown, that meeting's coming up in Stark, correct?
Yes, it's at the Armory.
At the Armory.
This year. If you go to the red light.
I'm gonna go too.
Go down that
Are
way.
you planning to go?
So
Mr. Hart?
our city clerk usually has to RSVP for us, so
Right.
I've done so this afternoon, so
Okay.
everybody has a spot.
Okay, excellent.
and did we check with Councilman Lewandowski?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
I think
thanks.
he said he could
He
not.
emailed me.
Yeah, okay. Next on the list is the Airport Authority applications with Mr. Van Zant's resignation.
so, tonight, I did resign, and so on the consent agenda, you accepted my resignation from the airport authority. What we have to do in front of us is tomorrow we will advertise for 2 open seats on the airport authority. With your approval in discussions with Mr. Commando earlier, one of those seats, the one that Mr. Bobby Lovely gets in, expires in May of 2024, and the seat I vacated, so you have 2 of those city seats, which are city seats if you live within 10 miles of the city limits. So we can continue to collect applications. The 2 that we've already received are just people that knew that there was a vacancy, but we haven't actually fulfilled that duty of advertising the vacancy. So we'll move forward with that and bring whatever applications we have to you in the March meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. Old business, July 4th discussion. Mr. Brown?
All right. Since the city has taken over our 4th of July, Kiwanis is still doing the parade. And so this year, the theme, if I can read my writing, is Sound of Freedom. And it's going to be kind of it's going to be supporting Camp Landing. If you remember, for years they had a sign out on Highway 21, on 301 or 16, anywhere where we would hear them guns going off and people complain about it. They put a sign up there, that's the Sound of Freedom. And that's what our 4th of July is going to be based on, is the Sound of Freedom. I've been working with both the city clerk and the manager, going over some stuff to get prepared for. Our city clerk ran into someone, and I'm going to let her explain. His name is Paul Wayne, and we've already got him set for the 4th of July for that afternoon and evening, and I'll let her explain more on that.
So I will apologize in advance. I did not know I would be explaining to council who these people were. So Paul Wayne actually performed at the Jaguar game a few weeks ago. He's a wonderful guitarist and vocalist, has a local band, and I apologize, I believe it's called Bradford County Line. He also supports, so through the state of Florida, he supports all high school students. They have a Rising Star group, so they provide instruments to local students that want to participate. So they come and they perform at the Howling Wolf every Thursday night from 7 to 9. So if you guys are interested in seeing their vision, meeting them, they do want to come and talk to council and introduce themselves and explain what they are and what they do. They are trying to become a non-for-profit, so I'm sure they'll have questions for council as to how to pursue that as well. They are wonderful people. I'm so excited to have them come to our city. I have no doubt this man will be famous one day. And to have him come to Keystone Heights to perform for our 4th of July is just wonderful and lovely. I do plan again having them come either March or April to meet council and to discuss those things with you in more depth. And any questions you guys may have that I need to get to them, I'll be glad to get to them.
Is he the guy that played the Star Spangled Banner?
Yes, sir, he is.
He is great.
Yeah.
He is phenomenal.
Oh, he is very,
Yeah.
very good.
And I'm hoping that the students from the Rising Stars will be agreeable to perform at our event as well, because we have 2 local bands out of Keystone Heights High School that perform. So I think that would be lovely to see as well, and also supportive of our school.
That's great. Yeah, it's a great idea.
I will be, for our workshop, be bringing up some more stuff about the 4th of July.
Love it.
For y'all to think about, so.
So in that, we have a road closure request for the parade. We've already received the Kiwanis application.
That was under the consent
was-
agenda?
That was consent.
That was in our
Okay,
consent
so
agenda.
You've already acted on that? Okay.
Yeah.
What was that, the parade? So that's all I have on 4th of July right now, but it is going to be a big thing. I will, right now, another thing is, this Saturday, we've got something going on at the beach. I don't know if they're having some bands come from, bands that played in the 70s
Oh, really?
down here. They're gonna do a little get together for one of the guys that's passed away this past month. And so
What time is that?
from noon to 5.
You said Saturday?
That's
Saturday.
this Saturday?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not a city event.
No, this is a private event, but there's
Are
a
they
possibility
just
we
using
can.
the park? Because I'm getting kind of blank stares here to my right and left.
It sounds like it. I mean, I'm gonna reach out to the person that put it out there and sent me a text the other day. But it's,
They have to submit a
I
request
didn't,
for that.
I don't think,
Yeah.
It's just the
okay.
Not the pavilion.
No,
It's
no,
just
it's
just
just,
on the stage.
I guess it's gonna be on the stage, but I'll check on that for you tomorrow. And make sure, I might do it tonight.
You know, I'll answer my phone if you.
All right.
Is this in the nature of just like a casual picnic, not
Yeah.
for profit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a bunch of friends.
Bunch of guys getting
Put
together,
it out on Facebook.
making some noise?
Yeah, so,
Yeah, good.
all right, I'm gonna shut up,
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, we're moving quite along here quickly tonight. Committee reports and recommendations. Budget and Finance, Mr. Brown? I don't really have anything.
No, but we do need to schedule something with staff
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
soon.
Pretty soon,
Yeah.
okay. Put that on to go over it. Growth Management, Mr. Hart?
No report, however, I'm no longer the vice mayor, so you
Yeah.
may want to change that.
Oh, that's all right.
If I may, I do need to apologize.
Oh,
just
you
a
don't need
little
to
bit. It's okay.
apologize.
Well, I
It was
know
in last
also an
month's too.
apology. Vice Mayor Thompson does deserve her title.
I didn't want her to think she
Sure.
was being impeached, you know?
I will make sure that it's corrected. in the
It's no
future
big,
so
it's
there's
no big,
no
it's no big.
confusion.
It's no biggie.
Don't give anybody
So next is our Keystone Heights Airport Authority, Chairman Kirkland. Oh, Mr. Coon, you're here tonight. I
He
saw,
got the
I saw
memo.
David back there earlier. Welcome.
Good to see you.
Yes.
You got
Don't-
the memo, you're wearing black.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
I really don't have too much for you tonight. I did want to let everybody know that we did finish our lighting project on our secondary runway. So just a few punch list items to resolve on that, and then we should be wrapped up with it. So I know some of the local tenants are happy that that's open. I think that project went on at least 30 days longer than they had anticipated, so we're happy to get that on its way. We do have some military operations happening this week. Today it was from 12:30 to 4:30. 2 C-130s offloaded some equipment, went over to Camp Landing, came back, loaded up, departed. Everything went great, so that's going to be happening through Thursday. And there will be some night operations too. If you hear C-130s at 10 o'clock at night, that's what it is. We did burn some grass last week. We did successfully get the grass burnt, but we had some issues with the wind and blowing into hangars and stuff. So that's going to be probably addressed tomorrow night at our airport authority meeting. So, but that's all I have. Do you have any questions?
Hey, go ahead.
When y'all went to Tallahassee,
Yeah.
how's the work of getting that turn lane, those 2 turn lanes in 100?
You know, we didn't get official word. At least I didn't.
We haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah.
We did get to talk to Chuck Brand and, Bobby Payne.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coon. Next is Planning and Zoning. Mr. Van Zandt?
So we've called a planning and zoning meeting for next Monday, and they have a couple items to consider. And I don't think either one of them will require action on council's part. What I did learn is if somebody's asking for a simple variance, the planning and zoning committee can do that with the authority you've already divested to them. And if they're looking for a zoning change, which we do have somebody with some lots to develop that is seeking one of those, that would come to planning and zoning and then make a second stop to council for approval. But I don't have real clear visibility on when that second one will come to you yet.
Okay, thank you.
But we do, they are meeting next Monday at 6, and when I speak to them, I'm just gonna ask them if we can keep that on the calendar the second Monday of the month, and then if we don't need it, we just won't advertise it.
I think that's a good idea. Okay, the next is the Heritage Commission. Anybody here from Heritage Commission tonight?
They called and said they would not be sending anybody.
They said what?
They were not going to send anybody tonight. They
Okay.
didn't have a report for you, so.
Okay, no problem.
Council, I apologize, I misspoke. It's Duval County line, not Bradford County.
Oh, for the band?
Yes, yes, I just wanted to correct that before I got a text later tonight. So I do apologize.
Duval.
Duval County line.
Duval. So, council comments. Mr. Hart?
The only comment I have is addressed to Speedy and sitting there in the back, and I appreciate you filing for this chair. And I know you've been approved by the county, and you're ready to roll, as far as I know. Is that correct? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes, I have a question about chain of command now that we have a city clerk. When we have an issue, council has an issue, who do we go to? Who's the first in the line? I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Well,
Go ahead. Rich gave me a good breakdown
so
verbally.
like
but
in the
now I'll
past,
give it to you.
I think it depends on what your issue is. So if you have an issue with notice, agenda, minutes, records, you're going to talk to our city clerk. If you have issues, also oversees code enforcement, planning and zoning, you're going to talk to our city clerk. If you have issues about, you can look at growth management, budget and finance, our relationship with the airport, big picture visioning, strategic plan, streetscape projects, events coming up in the city. Those are things that I would say you would talk to the city manager about.
Anything non-discretionary, more in the legislative nature, is that what I think you're saying? Hearing it?
Yes.
Okay.
And usually when you don't know which of the two to call, you guys call me.
Well, this is the first city clerk that I've had, that I've dealt with since
No,
I've been on
that's a good
council, so I
question.
just wanted to know. I didn't
That's a
want to
good
step
question.
on anybody's toes.
It's a very good question.
Thank
I
you.
needed that as well.
Thank you.
Mr.
That's
Brown?
This really doesn't have anything to do with the city of Keystone, but I wanted to share it because, last week or so, a good friend of mine, two of them I went to school with, almost lost their son. And he's been on a breathing tube for some time, and a lot of prayer went out, and Saturday afternoon they finally were able to take out the breathing tube, and he's sitting up and eating Jell-O and drinking, and it's only because of prayer. And I just wanted to share that.
It's amazing. Thank you. Okay, so it's been kind of a busy month. I attended the Clay Day in Tallahassee with all the other commissioners and mayors and sheriff's offices, and it was a great time to see everyone and kind of talk to some folks. This is a time for us to really try to communicate with them and kind of get their undivided attention for things that we have interest in. I am working on a project currently that has to do with vandalism that I'm going to share with council at the end of this month. Sheriff Cook was there, and she gave this gentleman to me who works for her collecting data on crime. And so he's got a specific list of items that I'm collecting that I'm going to share with the public once I get it, along with what it's cost us with the whole thing with vandalism in our park. Also, I attended the Garden Club where I gave them the proclamation for their 100th year celebration. I was there with them. Well, they had the 4-H kids come in and plant a maple tree right by the back of the cafeteria. So I thought it was pretty cute seeing those little kids in there digging in that dirt and getting that thing planted exactly right. I also, as I mentioned, attended the Keystone Heights Women's Celebration that they had just a few weeks ago. I think you were there, and there's a few of it, with, of course, Miss Karen Lake, who's our past mayor. Anyway, it was a beautiful group of folks, and just a really nice celebration, especially with them dedicating their building to Tina Bullock, which I think is pretty cool. I also participated in the new Clay County Tourism promo video. So Kimberly will be using different pockets within our county of all the cities representing what Keystone might have to offer. So it was, talking about what's here, but it's also talking to folks. I was not acting mayor in the video, so I'm hoping it came across like I really was a citizen here. So it went well, and I think Deborah and Todd Bills also were in the video. I attended the Sheriff's Net meeting just last week. It's the first one for the year. They're doing for a year now. There was about 5 deputies there, including her under sheriff. It was really a great meeting. Ms. Silva was able to introduce herself to everyone and just kind of, was talking about the changes of things that have been going on. And, the one thing, we have a lot of new happening right now. And what I'm going to ask all the citizens to do is to really be patient as we all try to figure out with our changes and transition and all support each other, which I think we're on a good road toward that. So I think that it's an exciting time for us. I'm looking forward to our year. It's going to be amazing. And I think that's all for me right now. So next, Mr. Van Sant.
So, you have a city election coming up. You have 2 open city council seats, and you have 1 person filed for each seat, so that makes a rather short ballot. The supervisor of elections has the resolution on the airport authority that you approved some months ago at the Florida National Guard request. They're willing to be an advisor but not vote. So your charter has an amendment in that resolution language is what will be present here to vote on in April when we have the city election.
Can that be done by mail?
It could be. I've gotten feedback and you guys can give me direction. But the turnout of it was very abysmal when it was done by mail.
Yeah.
So I've been told we won't do it that way, and I don't remember which one of you told me that, but it probably wasn't you since you're asking. So, whichever way
Yeah.
the majority you want to
Citizens
go.
had approached a number of council members after that, so.
It's basically how the temperature of the public, and if you sense that they want to have a live election with ballots, it's a referendum question, basically.
It is.
I would have no problem with that.
Yeah, and that'll require some education, the Keystone City Council and the Florida National Guard have a great relationship, always have.
I think we'd save some money if we
You know,
did it by
but
mail.
if you just read the resolution, you'd be like, why are they cutting the Florida National Guard out of a voting seat on the airport board, which is not what we're doing.
No.
So,
Might be doing a mill out. Might do a mill out.
Or, just talk to people as you encounter them on the streets to let them know this is what the referendum for. It was the guard's request.
Is that April 9th, if you recall that?
is it the
That
first
sounds right.
Tuesday or the second Tuesday?
I think it's the second Tuesday in April.
Okay.
That would be April 9th. It is.
Well, I'd be leaning towards doing it by mail unless somebody has a strong objection to it, just to save the city some money.
It's up to you.
That's what we did last year, was by
Mhm.
mail,
Mhm.
the things that were changed, and it does save the city money.
I don't sense that it's a hot button issue, but maybe it is. Like you say, Rich, we talk to people. Get a
So
sense.
by consensus of the majority of the council, I'm hearing y'all want to do a by mail
Yeah.
election.
That would be my vote, my motion to do it that way. Unless you feel, Charlie, that it should be done. I think we can give you that discretion to make that call based on the input you get from us and from other people. But I'd be leaning very heavily towards doing it by mail to save a few bucks.
Okay. Well, I will discuss that with the supervisor of elections. I don't think he'll have any problem at all not having to staff this building for a day for something you can't really do anything about anyway. You got to change your charter to make it work with reality.
I apologize for the interruption. So the motion would be to allow the city manager to make the decision as to whether it's mail-in ballots versus.
Well
A
stated.
live election,
She's very good.
an in-person election.
That is a correct
Thank you,
recitation of the motion.
Was there a second?
Not yet.
I second.
You gonna vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Commando.
I just want to welcome Mr. Van Zant in his first official meeting here with the city, and I know everyone here looks forward to working with him. Other than that, I hope everyone has a wonderful night and good week.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I actually wasn't done, but that's
Oh.
fine. When they talk about the election, you can't do other
That's part of your welcome. That's actually happened to me a couple times.
I just wanted to get your consensus. Is everybody attending the State of the County? We gotta turn in a list of names. I guess we all get a little name card with our
Yeah.
Yes.
cups and extra fork. And where I would like us to go, I'll say it out loud and you guys can beat me up in private, is I'd like to have these meeting agendas published 1 week prior to the meeting. So the last Monday of February, we want all the agenda items published to be considered by council on the first Monday of March. To do that, we're gonna start harassing you towards the end of the week prior to the week prior to get your items in. So that, I think that'll just be a great show of trust to the citizens, because you're not trying to sneak anything in, you just never want to look like it's a last minute thing. We always want to give that notice, and if Mr. Brown has a last minute brainstorm,
Well, I got a question. What happens, Rich, if something in that meantime happens and it has to get on that agenda? We can still bring it to the agenda at the council meeting?
Well, hopefully, as soon as we know, we would amend the agenda again to
And put
give
it
the
out
public
again?
notice. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But we can still amend an agenda on the spot if it's ministerial in nature and not legislative, I would think.
I
For
see.
example, a road closure or something like that.
Right, and I see your point. I mean, it's a lot easier on staff to be prepared a week ahead of time instead of 2 days ahead of time.
well, I can keep everything in front of
Right,
the windscreen.
right.
You can see it coming.
Yes. And you know, for me, a rule of thumb I've used in the past is, as things come up, I just make it on my list, and then that's what I would send to Stephanie. You know, as the month progresses, things you just kind of like, oh yeah, I'd like to add it, and then, oh, I forgot about that.
And that is perfectly acceptable, Madam Mayor. all
And that way, it's
council.
just kind of all together, and it's, because it does change throughout the month, the little things that come up.
Absolutely.
Great. So you done, Mr. Van Zandt?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
The only thing I want to add is we have a workshop scheduled for February 28th, I believe, 8 till noon. We are going to discuss a variety of subjects, including the Smart City plan that was shared with us just last month, the Parks plan that was shared, also maybe discuss further the corner, and now that we're looking at acquiring that building on the corner and kind of what that plan is going to look like. Some of my personal things that I want to get involved in, as I mentioned, is this vandalism project that has directly involvement with our park, our pavilion park. And so just looking at data and some ideas and really encouraging citizens to become part of a task force to create how it might look if we do some things a little differently. Also, social media, and what the plan moving forward with that is as far as responding, just things that come up, just like talked about this thing with Camp Blanding. Maybe it's an issue sometimes of perception and reality. And it's a brief statement just to clarify, this is what this is about and this is why we're doing this. You know, so people can read it, and maybe it goes on our website, maybe it goes, I'm saying the city website, or maybe it goes on our public social media website. But I think it's all about having this transparency thing that we all need to learn a little bit about and do a better job at. And, you know, so I think that's pretty much some of the subjects that we're going to talk about. So it's going to be a pretty busy workshop, but I'm looking forward to it. I think we'll get a lot of things done. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I hope you all have a great rest